Hey guys, Captain Pedro here. Today I'm going to show you how I like to rig my rods for bottom fishing for big grouper and snapper. And so the idea from this came, I made a video, and if you haven't seen it, I'll link it at the end of this one. I've had a lot of people reach out to me on our website at pescatarianfishing.com, and they send me an email. They want to get started into offshore fishing, or they move to Florida, they don't know what to get, they don't know how to set it up. And today I'm going to show you how I like to set up my rod for, if you missed that video, I'm going to link it, by the way, I'll link it at the end of this one, so you see the rods that you need to have and kind of the reasons why for the different species. But today I'm going to show you my favorite way of rigging the rods for bottom fishing for big snapper grouper, right? I've got my rod here spooled up with braid, and I like the braid. It gives me a lot of line on the rod. And then you need a leader, you need a monofilament leader on it to really absorb that shock. And obviously when you're fishing with braid, the fish could see this, so you need monofilament. The first thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and set up your loop for your lead. And to do that, we're going to go ahead and take off a piece of leader, and we're going to cut it. And you're going to take a swivel, we're going to put it through the swivel, and we're just going to close the loop on this. And what you're going to do with this is you're going to loop it around your lead, and this makes it very simple. Depending on the amount of current and depth of water that you're in, you need to adjust your lead size. So with this loop, it lets you very quickly loop it around the lead, and you could change your lead accordingly depending on the amount of current that you have that day and the depth of water that you're fishing in. But we're just going to tie it like that, and we're going to make a loop, and then we're going to go ahead and cut off these tag ends. Now you've got this loop, okay, that you're going to just loop right through your lead and fasten your lead to this. The key with this is that this has to be loose on your main line. You want the lead to be able to slide freely all the way down. As you can see here, the lead will be loose on your main line. At the end of your main line, you're going to go ahead and tie another swivel, which is where your leader is going to go. We're going to go ahead and tie that on. And then you could also adjust the leader accordingly depending on your water clarity, you know, how deep you are, how big the fish are. I like to start off with a 60-pound leader, and that's the leader that we're going to be putting on it today. So on the boat, I have these two big spools, and this is a camouflage line that's sold here at Atlantic and Gulf here in Miami. And you guys, if you are in Miami and you want to go ahead and stop by, and you could pick up these spools. They are very affordable, and I have it on the boat. His braid is hard to cut. I have them on the boat, and I've got the 60-pound, I got a 100-pound. I like to start off lighter. Obviously, the bigger the line that your leader is, the more the fish are going to be able to see it. And these fish have very good eyesight, and they are very, very, very smart. So I like to start off with this 60. Then if I'm getting, broken off, then I'll switch to 100. But just keep in mind that the higher you go, the more chances you have that those fish are going to be able to see the line. So bottom fishing here, and I know that this sounds like a lot, but I like to have very, very long leaders. And I'll tell you the reason why. When this falls to the bottom, okay, you've got, your lead hits the bottom, and it's going to be bouncing off the bottom. Boom, with the waves, the boat is moving up and it's bouncing, okay? And this is creating a lot of commotion right here. And what I like is to have that bait as far away from this as possible. I don't want to have anything spook the fish or get them scared. So I like to run 30, 40, sometimes, depending on the current, even 50-foot leaders. Get it really far away from where my lead is banging. So we're going to go ahead and cut this one. We're going to go ahead and cut 30 here, 30-foot leader off of this. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, guys, this is a cheat code of fishermen. Now, it depends how tall you are. So I'm 5'10". And they say that from fingertip to fingertip is how tall you are. So I'm doing 6 of those. It's going to be a 30-foot leader. So like a fathom. Then you're going to go ahead and tie that leader onto the end of your swivel. Big muscle car going by. We're going to tie that leader on here to the end of the swivel. Now, as you're fishing and you want to change leaders and you want to either go up, go down, you get broken off, you get a shark, it's very simple. All you got to do is just cut it right here off of the swivel that's on your main line, measure a new one, and put your new leader on it. Then on the other side, we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up the hook. And the size of the hook is going to depend obviously on how big the fish are that you're targeting. But you want to make sure that the hook is a decent sized hook that could go through the jaw of the fish. And these circle hooks are amazing because when the fish bites and they go to pull, this thing is going to slide through their mouth and clip them right in the bottom of the jaw. So if the fish is undersized, it's very simple. You can take the hook off and release the fish, and it eliminates them swallowing the hook and getting gut hooked, and then they could eventually die. But we're going to go ahead and then tie this hook on, and then I'm going to show you how to coil this up, because now we've got such a long leader that, and you've got a swivel at the end of your line, and it's not going to go through the tip of your rod. And you don't want to have all this loose leader when you're transporting it. So all you got to do is come to your rod, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to just clip the hook here. And then you want to come here and start winding the leader that you cut. We're going to wind it up. You're going to just wind it up on your reel until you get all the way to the end of it. This is going to allow you to have your leader here. You're ready to go. You could transport your reels, and it's going to keep your leader nice and tight without getting loose and tangling and getting all over the place. And I really am very, very picky when I'm doing my leaders. I don't like to step on it. I don't like any abrasions in it. I want these leaders to be perfectly clean, because any little weak point could cause it to break. And I don't want to be fighting a fish and losing. There's a lot of times that I'm fishing, and I will tell you, as you're fishing, guys, you want to check your leader. Once you get to the end, guys, here, all you're going to do is go ahead and reel it up. And you see this is going to get tight. Here's the loop that you made for your lead. It's sitting here free. You're going to wind this up, and now you've got your reel with your leader on it. When you're going to start fishing, you loosen your drag a little bit, you pull it all off. It's all going to unwind on the floor of the boat, and then you unclip your hook, and then you're ready to put your bait on it. Now, like I was telling you guys, when you are fishing, the end of this where the hook is, okay? These fish are strong. This is on the bottom. Every time you catch a fish, I would tell you, rub your hands on this. If it feels a little rough to you and it's a little chafed, cut your hook off, slide your fingers down to where it's not chafed, cut it to where you have fresh line, and retie your hook. That part that's chafed from their teeth, from the bottom, you know, there's a lot of rocks and everything. This could be hitting the rocks. You don't want anything to impede you from catching that fish. So after every one that I catch, I rub my fingers on it. If you feel any little abrasions, any chafing, go to it, cut it, retie it, and re-drop it. You don't want to get into a nice big fish and have the line break right there. Especially with the shark problem that we have here in Florida. Sharks everywhere. You're going to hook up sharks. You're going to get into sharks. Almost always they're going to break off the line before you get them to the boat. Sometimes you can get them boat side and you'll break it off there. But you're going to feel the end of your line is going to have those abrasions. Cut that off. Slide down to where it's fresh. And it doesn't matter if you're cutting off a foot or two off of your leader. Then as your leader gets too short, just cut it off here at the swivel, measure a new one, and start over. But make sure that your leaders are free of any chafing. Guys, thank you for watching, and good luck out there.